we talk about divisive topics in Chiefs Kingdom. Well, we have one for you if you love those. So Chiefs end up keeping 4 running backs as you rightfully predicted on Monday. Pacheco, Kareem Hunt, Brashard Smith, and Elijah Mitchell, all 4 kept. Carson Steele gone, and Elijah Mitchell kept. A lot of people didn't think that was going to happen. But there was also that report that came out last week that the Chiefs were interested in bringing a veteran running back. And naturally, people looked at the biggest names out there, the Breece Halls of the world, Tyler Algiers of the world. But no, the Chiefs went back to the well, the guys they know. And that's bringing back former first-round pick CEH. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is back at the Chiefs practice squad today, which, again, talk about divisive topics, 2 camps. Some happy about it to have our guy back. Some not happy about to have him back. But, JD, do you think the Chiefs are set at running back, and what do you make of bringing CEH back to the Kansas City Chiefs?
I think we said at running back. I said that, before. We got, 4 guys that are capable. Now, obviously, 3 of the guys are veterans. They understand. They got experience, and I trust them. I trust Isiah Pacheco. I trust Kareem Hunt, and I trust Elijah Mitchell. I trust those guys because they are proven. They are proven guys who have been successful in this league. That's why I didn't feel like we had to go out and cover the other guys and who we need to get here. These guys do a good job for what we do. And sometimes we just need that. Was that 3 yards in a cloud of dust that Kareem Hunt's going to get you? We don't need that home run ball. But now we got him with Brashard Smith. We're going to let him develop. So then we got a young dude that's going to be able to develop, who can catch the ball out the backfield, who can go against any linebacker, safety, or anybody one-on-one in a pass, running the route. He's going to win. That's what you want, matchups. So we got a good mix of guys, okay, that's going to be able to do a lot of different things well. And I think we're fine with that. I think we are. And everybody's bringing all these different names and stuff like that. I'm like, yo, I like what we got in the room. I liked it. Still like it. Now, CEH coming back. Good for him. Good for us. CH he's part of our family. So you welcome him back into the fold. And the last time he was here, there was some things he was going through. It's like, man, and our hearts went out to CEH, in this whole ordeal that he was going through, and still are. But it was good because he's coming back to familiarity. I still think he's a very talented back. A lot of people don't like it. I don't think they thought, well, you think TH is going to come back and just going to thrust him in as number 1? That's not, he's on the practice squad because there's still developmentals and all those different things. But it doesn't hurt us at all. It just only helps us. It's part of our family member coming back here. So I think we're good. Welcome back, CEH. That's how I look at it. Welcome back. Matter of fact, it gives you another chance and opportunity to another ring. He needs to experience that. I love that for him. Okay. So.
And the one thing that stood out to me bringing back CEH, I see Pete V here has a nice comment. CEH is a premium pickup because he knows the system. And that's one thing that stood out to me, right? Bringing back a guy who's not only a veteran, but he knows the system. And what's the one thing that CEH was when he was drafted? He was a highly touted receiving back out of the backfield. I still think we should have used him more as a receiving back, and we didn't really. But he brings that vibe, and there's been years where he had caught 35 balls or 40 balls 1 year out of the backfield. So there was elements that we did use of that. But Brashard Smith is a receiving back, right? Receiver who's playing running back, and he can be a badass third down back. We saw it, elements of that in that third preseason game. But to have a guy like CH to be like, hey, I know how they might utilize you. Like to have that kind of guy teaching Brashard Smith, I think whether CH ever gets activated the active roster or not, he's going to have that tutelage of Brashard Smith, and I love that.
Absolutely. And a guy that we got CH here, that was going to be his role. That was why we got him here, right? Perfect way to say it, Marcus, because that's true. A lot of that is in the mentoring aspect of it, right? Who could do it better than CH about what it is that's required of him, how you should look. You got some similarities as far as like being able to catch the ball out the backfield. So I love this move. I do. And so, some people might not like it and all despise it and stuff. Okay. Well, I disagree with that. I do. just for the simple fact of what you're just saying right there. And I told you it takes the vets to teach these young guys how it's done, and even guys in those positions that can do it well. So, and even has a different game. Like Brashard has a different game than, Isiah Pacheco and a Kareem Hunt, Elijah Mitchell maybe, but then of course, Brashard Smith, you seen him up the seam route, or like you said, arrow route angle. Shoot, you can have him run a comeback on the outside, a couple of reverses and whatnot. Yeah, this is I think a good move as far as dealing with that. Bringing CH back on the practice squad.
Yeah,
and like I said, it gives an opportunity. Go ahead.
No, I was saying, like I say, if nothing more, just to be a veteran to kind of, because that's the thing. It's like you talked about before, like guys have played with other guys, they have experience, right? And they can take the experience they've gotten, right? For like Brashard Smith will never play with Jerick McKinnon, right? He'll never play with Jet McKinnon. But who did play with Jet McKinnon? Pacheco did, as well as CH did. CH was probably more closely to Jet McKinnon as far as skill-wise, as far as being in that receiving type back out the backfield, was more so him, right? So he could take his knowledge, he could take what Jet McKinnon taught him, and bestow that to the next generation of Brashard Smith. And I think if everyone as high as Brashard Smith, like I am and you are, then like that, they give him more knowledge and educate this kid to the best possible ability, and he can take the Jerick McKinnon, the CH stuff, and apply that to himself, and he can be that badass receiving back that we all hope he can be.
Yeah, no, all of that, no question about it. I think he will. Just like Michael said, Smith has the instincts and vision. Don't think he needs much help. Absolutely needs help. He doesn't have that yet, Justin. We've seen that preseason. And it takes time. And where it's different in college is, and I keep saying this, that there's a pulse and a tempo in blocking the NFL. The guys are bigger, they're faster, linebackers are faster, the schemes are different. And so you're just not running against the type of competition that you're seeing in college. It's totally different things. It's a whole different level coming to this. And it's going to take some time, and that's fine. His instincts got to grow, because now it's like, oh, I get the patience. I got to have that. And so, you ain't got no jokers on the defensive line doing basket weaving. Okay. You're not. We're taking, French. These guys right here are literally trying to rip your helmet off. Okay. And put it on their mantle. That's what we're going to do. Can you imagine these jokers get a hold of a Brashard Smith? I mean, he's got a good size, but these are some big jokers that hit hard and run fast. And so bad breath jokers going to be breathing down his neck, all in his face, barking at him. Don't you bring that suck up in here no more like that. What's wrong with you? Take it on back where you was. This is scary. This is a scary league sometimes, Marcus.
Oh, man.
Just thinking about some of those big dudes, and it reminds me of like 300. You remember they had that big dude on the chain, like he's drooling, and that's how it is. They're gonna unleash the chains, and so yeah.
Dritty, I know, seeing John Randall. Oof. I was watching the Cowboys Netflix documentary based on the early '90s Cowboys, and they're showing the Super Bowl where they play the Steelers, and they have the dude off the edge, number 95, the Steelers edge rusher. What was his name? The big dude, the Steelers edge rusher, number 95.
I mean, they had Greg Lloyd was one. Greg Lloyd.
I think it was Lloyd. Yeah. I remember seeing him. I remember you talked about how much. I was like, oh shoot.
Listen, hey, and that's what I'm talking about. It's a whole different thing. Greg Lloyd. If y'all never heard me talk about that, that's that story. Greg Lloyd was like a 8th degree black belt or something like that. And I remember I was starting tight end with the Philadelphia Eagles, and I had to leap from one side to the next, and then the quarterback's going through the cadence, down, set, and I hear Greg Lloyd just do this breathing technique. I'm like, oh, shit. Oh, golly. And that's like was going to hit me in my jugular. That's what he's going to do. When he got down, I heard that, in the midst of, the whole cadence. I was like, oh, this is going to be a long day, So, yeah.
But yeah, man, when you talk about like it's just a different animal thing compared to what these guys played in college, it's like it's that kind of stuff. I mean, yeah, maybe nowadays it isn't what it quite was when you were playing in the '90s because it was physical back then. And but yeah, it's a different animal from ACC.
Oh, yeah.
But so obviously, bring back CH is one thing, but Eli Mitchell is getting a lot of flack. Because I don't think a lot of fans thought that he was going to come back to the team. Obviously, he was on your projected 53-man roster. But for maybe people who didn't see the 53-man roster episode, why was it so important that we did bring back Eli Mitchell? And what do you see from Eli Mitchell that is such a big deal, and it's a good thing that we brought him back and he's on the 53-man roster?
I saw his vision. I saw his burst, something Brashard Smith does not have yet. So it was that Justin Blackwell said that, Justin. Elijah Mitchell has it already. We seen him when CMC went down, come in, and he was toting the rock. He did very well. It was the injuries that kind of slowed him down. But he has that experience. And so he understands it. He knows what it takes. And then also, too, he's got a whole different mindset and focus. And I'm not taking anything away from Brashard Smith, man. He's going to be one hell of a running back when it's all said and done. And I want him to keep getting better and better and better. We're going to keep giving him chances. He's going to be out there. He's going to play. Okay? Make no mistake about it. But I think if they're sitting there saying, if something does go down, we can hand the ball back to a proven guy. Okay? It's not really going to dance around. He's going to hit the hole. And I seen that in preseason. I'm like, ooh, he still got some juice. He kept showing up. That's what my eyes saw. I'm looking on film. I'm seeing the same thing. Maybe some holes. And he's running with some of the 2s and 3s that he had to make. He going like, look, I'm not going to dance behind here. I'm going to get up through. If I got me a little glimpse, and that's what he did. He hit the hole, just a little bit of that daylight. And look, he was slicing through. That was impressive. Because he was quiet all preseason, Marcus. We didn't really hear a whole lot about him. We didn't really talk about him as much. I think a lot of people were sitting there counting him out as like, oh, he's going to be one of those guys. And all I kept saying, like, he looks pretty good. Now, maybe he wasn't practicing, worth a darn or whatever, but with preseason, the sucker laced his cleats up. He turned it on. He had some juice left. So he still got wiggle to him. All right, man, I'm happy he's here. Trust me. Because even if those guys go down, we need a dude, and Elijah Mitchell's a real dude. So I'm okay with it.
Yeah, and that's something that while we are Brashard Smith fans, that's something that Brashard Smith, we can't rely on him to be a guy again being a bell cow for us. Eli Mitchell has been a bell cow, yes, in spot duty when CMC was out, but he has been a bell cow. So like if Pacheco or Hunt goes down, we can rely on Elijah Mitchell. Can't really rely on Brashard Smith to be a 10 to 15 carry guy as of right now, So
he'll get there with more. He'll get there, right? Because somebody was talking about Isiah Pacheco, like, how do you get a guy ready and stuff like that? Well, Brashard Smith, we threw him in early with Patrick Mahomes. We gave him some reps. Good. He went against the ones. We've seen him thrive against the ones. We've seen that against the ones. So he's very capable against the ones. He was like torching them. So I believe his progression is going to be, pretty quick. And I think so. I do believe that.
Yeah, and I guess for me, as the way I see Brashard Smith right now is more of a couple touches here and there, be it screens, be it some catches, be it maybe a couple carries. But if Pacheco and Hunt were to go down, I just don't see him being a bell cow type of guy. I feel like Mitchell has proven to be that. Mitchell would be that guy, not Brashard Smith. So that's important to have Eli Mitchell in that respect.
Absolutely. So that's why. And it goes into the whole reason, and, Chiefs are thinking and whatnot. Like, to me, it made sense. That's why I had on the 4. That's the guys I had because it made sense to me. Like, okay, this room looks nice. I like the room that, you got quality guys. Okay. two guys you can sit there and say, oh, one's injured and one can't hit his head on the goalpost anymore, and another guy's been injured and stuff like that. All three are capable guys. They can get the job done, especially for what we do. And all we need for them to be, Marcus, is who they are. That's it. We're not getting a guy here to tote the rock 30 times or 40 times. It's not what we do. It's not what we do. So
100% agree.
yeah, right. I'm gonna be bell cow guy. We don't run that part.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.